What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rugged Adventures. Today we have the AR-15 and 5.56, and it goes like this. We also have an AR-15 and 458 SOCOM, and it goes like this. Oh, it jams. So like you guys just saw, we are going to be doing the 458 SOCOM, this big gigantic bullet right here versus this little tiny 5.56 NATO. And the reason that I'm doing something so controversial yet so brave is that I want to show the difference between a very small, spicy, fast bullet versus a very large and very powerful, but again, very large bullet, and see what the difference is in the three different materials that we typically test here, which is wood, concrete, and steel. We have our typical 1x1x1 wood block, 8 inches of concrete, and steel test of 1/4 inch and 3/8, and if any of those can both go through that, which I have a feeling based on the testing that I've done in the past, that this one is going to do very, very well in softer targets like wood and concrete, where it can just thump all of that energy into the target. I have a feeling that this one is going to do much better on the steel. The guns that we have today are both configured very similarly. This is just an Anderson AR-15, nothing special, 16-inch barrel. It's got the EOTech sight on there. If I just did a review of the EOTech sight, so check that out. This is a Bear Creek Arsenal 16-inch 458 SOCOM barrel or upper on just a regular AR-15 lower, and that is one of the really cool things about the 458 SOCOM is that it just goes on top of a typical AR-15 lower, and you can start slinging these giant bullets out of it. Now, as far as the Bear Creek Arsenal upper, I'm not super pleased with that, but it was very low cost. It was a risk on my end that I took that hasn't really worked out so well. First up is our wooden block, and I got these cool Walker Razor new headphones on where I can hear and such. Got those for Christmas, so thanks, Dad. We're going to go with the 5.56 first. Show you that we actually have 5.56s in there. They're not green tips or anything special, just the typical M193s. We'll put one for this and then one out of the 458 SOCOM and then see what the results are. There is the 5.56 and this big old 458 SOCOM. This is a heavy, this is also 5.56. We'll get a 458. And actually what's funny is if you put a 5.56 into a 458 SOCOM, the entire cartridge just comes sliding right out of the barrel. And we'll see if this thing is going to work, because cycling has not been this upper's friend. But I can definitely see the hole we put in it, so let's go down and take a look at what we did. Here's our entrance for our 5.56. This is the entrance for our 458 SOCOM. Obvious, major differences there. And I wanted to point this out before we take this block apart. One of them made it all the way through. I have my guesses on which one, but let me get the screwdriver going here and we'll figure out exactly what happened. One did make it all the way through, and I want you to tell me in the comments right now which one it is before we get into this, because it's surprising to me which one made it all the way through. But I got this thing all unscrewed, and I tried to pick the cleanest, most knot-free 2x12 for this project. So I'm sorry out there if someone's getting their house built and you now have a 2x12 filled with knots. But this is our 5.56 458 SOCOM. We take them off. They're both just still rocking, like nothing's going on. Nothing at all. And actually it's funny because we must have hit one with the stray from our introduction up there in the top, because there is a bullet right here on the other side, but that was not the one that we fired. We have still going 3 sections, 4 sections, nothing really is changing, nothing is tumbling, really nothing is going on with these guys. Usually we see 5.56 is tumbling by this point, but nothing is going on. Let's see, we are 5 sections in. Again, really not a lot is going on with these bullets. This may be tumbling a little bit, but really nothing. And then there it is. There is your 458 SOCOM It was stopped on the 6th. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th layer. Just stopped dead. There, it doesn't really seem to be deformed or anything. Just stopped. Looks like the 223 here is still going. Looks like it's tumbling. It's definitely tumbling. You can see the outline of that 223 bullet as it's going through. Exits the back here. I don't see any pieces of the bullet. It's gone. And that is in contrast to what I've seen shooting other ones of these blocks. I've shot a couple of these older ones. Now, maybe it's because they're older, but that right there is a blowout on the back from 458 SOCOM. And so when I tell folks that we're not running a science lab here, that's what I mean. We're shooting these things one time typically, and the results are just what they are. And so for this one today, in these circumstances, the 556 has outshot the 458 SOCOM in a relatively soft target. Let me get this cleaned up. We'll get some concrete blocks, see if the 458 can really just pound those into dust faster than the 556. If you guys aren't familiar with this test, you haven't been around, this is your first time, first of all, hit subscribe. We have 8 inches of concrete for each one of these to shoot through, and what we'll do is we'll put 1 in it, see what that does, mainly because this Bear Creek Arsenal upper is probably only going to fire 1 before it jams, and then we will take a look at what it does and see how many it takes to get through the entire 8 inches. Again, 556, we'll do this one on the left-hand target. See how it does. And it looks like I took the side, I hit the side of it again, but it's close enough. Put that on safe. And get the 458 SOCOM with that big boy in there. And we'll hit the one on the right with it. That hit a lot. There was a lot going on with down there when that hit. So I hit in about the same place on both of them. Definitely off to the left-hand side. But this is the 556. And what I found with these small hot bullets is they tend to just drill holes and fragment. This blew off this side here. But as far as I can see, there are no cracks around the side of this. Nothing really going on in the back. And nothing on the one behind it. This 458 SOCOM, on the other hand, with its big top frontal area, lots of energy. This is about 1,800 feet-pounds. This is like 1,300 or 1,400. This one's going about 1,450 feet per second. This one's probably somewhere in the 2,800 range. This took off this chunk of concrete here, fractured this concrete. I think it's all the way around.
That was a textbook dad noise.
Nah, it just goes over to the side there. The back side here has a little fracture, but oh, there, no, it's completely cracked in half. It's completely done in half, but we'll leave that there for now. And this side back here, nothing on it. So let's go back up to the top. Like I said, I'll leave that since it was here when we got here. We'll see how many rounds it'll take to get completely through both of these pieces of concrete. For the 556, we already have 1 in it. Let's see how many more it takes to get through all 8 inches of concrete. Here we go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know if we can count that. 9. I'll say 8 or 9 because it was sort of kind of hanging on there for a minute. Okay, let's try the 458 SOCOM. I got like 7 or 8 of these, so hopefully it doesn't take that many. However, I will say that it's almost guaranteed that this thing will jam, so you'll just have to bear with me. All right, on the right, we already have 1 in there. Just like that. And the bolt didn't seat. There we go. That's 2, and it blew that top one off. And again, bolt didn't seat. 3. Man, this is more problems than I normally have out of it. Okay, we're up to 3. think that's broken in half. I'll put a 6 into it. For a good measure. So we are somewhere between, what, 2 to 4, depending on how you want to count those as far as when the 5.56 got through and the 458 SOCOM. Now, granted, if you were actually using this in a real-life situation, clearing jams would not be your favorite thing. That's not a problem with the round. That is a problem with this upper, and that is just how it goes sometimes when you buy the least expensive product on the market. So far, we've got a 1-1. The 458 SOCOM definitely beat the 5.56 on the masonry. The 5.56 beat the 458 SOCOM in the wood, in the soft target. Now we're going to get down to steel, and this is where I think the 5.56 is really going to shine, but honestly, I thought that the 458 SOCOM was going to blow away the 5.56 on the wood, so we'll see what happens here. Got a 1/4-inch steel target downrange. It's a newly painted red to differentiate the old holes from the new ones, and we'll see how it goes. This is 5.56, and we'll see if we can put it on target. There's a brand new hole in it down there. Looks like it went straight through and didn't even move. That thing's actually just wedged in between one of our old wood targets. We have the 458 SOCOM. We'll see if this does anything, if it's able to go through or if it just knocks the plate right off. And I definitely hit low and to the left again, but it did hit the plate, and we'll see what that did. I don't think it went through. This is our new hole from the 5.56. It easily penetrates through. That's just, like I said, the M193s. These aren't 855s or 855A1s. This is just the standard old 55 grain bullet out of a 16-inch barrel. Down here is our 458 SOCOM, and although it hit with a ton of energy, did not come through just a 1/4-inch piece of steel. Now, what it did do is it dumped every bit of that energy into that plate. I mean, look at that. That's ridiculous. This up here, I mean, I don't think it bent the steel at all. It just went straight through without stopping, without doing anything. Whereas this here just totally wrecked this thing. And to be honest, that is really what the 458 SOCOM is all about. Now, granted, these aren't the super high-powered ones, like the 2,400 feet per second ones. These are only 1,450. It's coming with about 300 to 500 more feet-pounds of energy than the 5.56, and that was what it was meant to do. The 458 SOCOM came out of the Special Operations Forces Command after they had been through Mogadishu. They said that the 5.56 wasn't doing the job, and I'm not sure if it was the 193s, if it was the 855s. I'm not sure which flavor of 5.56 it was, but they said that it was taking 2 or 3 or more hits in order to take somebody down, and so that's what they were looking for with the 458 SOCOM, was something that was going to give them that one-shot thump to get it done. And if you are shooting at a body or something like that, or a soft target, and you hit it with a 5.56, it's not going to feel good. It's not going to be a good day for anyone on the receiving end of that, even if they have body armor on or something. But what could happen is it could just go completely through, especially if it is a, you know, soft, non-essential target, like maybe an arm, maybe through a shoulder, something like that. It could just go boom all the way through if it doesn't tumble or anything like that, especially with the 855s, as has been rumored and they were finding out, you know, in actual use. The 458 SOCOM is going to have that big old bullet. That's a 350 grain bullet that we were shooting today. They go all the way up to 550 to 600 grains for the subsonic rounds, and that is going to put that thump right in any type of soft tissue. It's going to dissipate all its energy, as we just saw in the steel test today. But as far as us breaking targets, penetrating things, the 5.56 came out with the win today. I was a little bit surprised that it won on the wood block test, but that is the way these things go. Again, not a science lab. There's no control group. We're only shooting one time for the most part, and that's just the way it goes. So I'm sorry if your caliber didn't win. I'm sure the haters are going to leave me something down in the comments, but that's okay, because I found that there is no hater out there that is doing better than the person they're hating on. So guys, if you're new here, subscribe down below. Hit the like button to help this video out if you did like it, and I appreciate you all watching. I'll see you in the next one.